Welcome to Authentic Wellness with Joni and Joey. I'm Joni.
And I'm Joey.
We're so excited about today's show.
Today is going to be a lot of fun.
We're going to talk about manifesting.
Right. Which is such an interesting topic.
Well, it really is. And I think that people are manifesting every day in their lives and don't even really know it.
Mm-hmm. And you hear people talk about things like The Secret and the law of attraction. And I don't know if everyone really understands exactly what that means, and the fact that you're manifesting all the time, whether you mean to or not.
Right.
And it's not just think happy thoughts and happy things will happen. It's a lot deeper than that.
It is a lot deeper than that. And, there's a process to it.
Right.
And there's certain things that you need to do to kind of get where you need to be.
Right.
And our guest today, Klien, is going to help us walk through some of that.
She is amazing. I mean, when she walks in the room, you can just feel the energy. It's really something to experience.
Well, I agree. I've only recently met her. You've been friends with her for a while.
Right.
And I was drawn to her immediately. She's such a bright light.
Yes. And if you think about law of attraction, you start to attract people and things into your life that help you to go to the next level. And
yes.
I think there's a saying, when you're ready to learn, the teacher will appear, or something.
Yes.
Like that. For me, it was actually kind of interesting. I get my eyelashes done for part of my self-care. And the lady
I've been meaning to ask you about that.
Yes, they're not natural. But the lady that does those for me, I started going to her, 7 or 8 years ago. And you're laying on the table. Of course, you have to keep your eyes closed. And she was playing this book in the background called Law of Attraction. And I'd never heard of it. I didn't know anything at all about it. And I would just listen and kind of absorb it. And I took the information with me when I left and just started thinking about it. And I noticed that these things were happening. I'd be thinking about somebody and they would call, or just very interesting things. And so over the years, I've tried to learn more and read more. And it's a very complicated process. But if you kind of break it down to its most basic, it's something that can be really impactful on your life. So it's been kind of funny. I have a 12-year-old son. He just turned 12 yesterday, and he calls me yoga mom. Oh, you're yoga mom. Here you go with your yoga mom stuff, because I'm always talking about the universe. And we've had a couple of things happen recently that really helped him to see kind of the manifesting in action. We recently went to Gatlinburg, which is a cluster of people. Holy cow. And you try to park somewhere, and good luck. But we had one destination in mind, and I said, okay, everybody, we're in the car. I'm like, everybody picture we are pulling up to Ober Gatlinburg, and there is a parking spot right in front of the sign, because that's where we want to park. So everybody picture it and think about how happy we're going to be when we get there. Kid you not, parking spot right in front of the sign. And my son was like, holy cow, the universe really works magic. I'm like, it's not magic. You are making your own future. So this morning, he's getting ready to go to the beach, and he sent me a text, and he said, I can't find my AirPods. And I said, well, where did you have them last? Blah, 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 blah. I said, I want you to picture you having them for your trip and how exciting it feels that you're able to put your AirPods in. He said, okay, come on. He texted, come on, universe, help me out. And I walk into the kitchen, and there are his AirPods. And so he was like, oh my gosh, that was so cool.
See?
So again, if a 12-year-old can grasp the concept, I think the rest of us can too.
I love that you're teaching him that at a young age.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I always say to my kids too, just don't ask for things. Thank God or the universe that it's already happened.
Right. Right. And think of the feeling that you're going to have.
Yes.
I really think the feeling is such a large part
of it.
And
that kind of brings us, it reminds me of our last guest.
Yes.
She kept saying, go for that next best feeling, the next best feeling. It's kind of like that.
Exactly.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what Katie has to say about all this.
I know. We're going to be manifesting left and right by the time she leaves.
Well, she should be here soon.
Well, we can't wait. So stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
Well, our guest made it here.
Miss Katie Klien.
So excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. It's going to be a great show today.
We're going to talk manifesting today.
Yay!
We're so excited about that. But first, you are so talented. There's so many things that you do. Why don't you give us a little background?
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here today. So what I do, I am a conscious lifestyle coach, which basically means I help people through their awakening process at any stage where they are. I have lots of tools and different modalities that I use to help people through that process or support them through that process. One of the modalities is Reiki. I'm a Reiki Master. I'm also a psychic medium, so I can help to tune into source and their higher self, help them learn how to connect to their intuition more, and their own higher self, which is, I call our inner GPS, is our intuition. So today I'm excited to share more about how intuition connects to manifestation and how it's actually the missing link, I believe, in, being able to manifest.
Wow. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
I know. And anybody can manifest. Actually, most people are manifesting all the time and they don't even realize it, right?
Exactly. You're either consciously manifesting or unconsciously manifesting. So
what does that mean exactly for people who maybe they see these coincidences that happen in their life, but they don't know to put the title of manifesting? What does that mean exactly?
Right. So basically, it's kind of complicated. So I guess the best way to explain it would be when you're aware. So you're aware that you're seeing signs and synchronicities, because a lot of people will get signs and it's not even in their awareness. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like when you're looking for it or you believe it to see it, it's going to show up, right? So that would be conscious. You're conscious of it.
Okay.
You're aware.
Right.
And unconsciously, you might feel like things just happen to you. You don't really have a say. You might feel a little more victimized or fearful, feeling like life happens to you and that you don't really have the ability to change your circumstances or choose a different option. We always have unlimited possibilities to choose from, but it's our own limiting thoughts and beliefs that will put us in a box and make us feel like that's just how it is for us.
Well, I think that I've always been taught to take the approach that life happens for us.
Exactly.
Not to us.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that we can drive that.
Yes.
Right?
Very much so. Very much so. And I think people think, if it's a good thing, then I manifested it. If it's a bad thing, that something happened to me. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yes. And that's not true. It's all
Right.
manifesting.
And the judgment of good and bad is human. So there's two parts of self. There is the human self, which is like the self that we're aware of all the time, like, our logical thinking mind and our own inner voice. And then there is the higher self. This is the part of us that's connected to source.
So can I interrupt?
Yeah,
I was going to do that too.
So you keep referencing source.
Source, yeah.
How would you describe or define that for like the general population?
Good question. So everybody has a different way that they describe the way they perceive a higher power, right? So that could be the universe, that could be spirit, that could be God, that could be source. The reason I use the word source is it's kind of all-encompassing and inclusive, I think.
Yeah.
I'm also comfortable with saying God, but, there are people that have some trauma around religion, indoctrination, or, the way that they've grown up through that. So, really, I just use source as an all-encompassing term for the universe.
Yeah. Perfect. So whatever the higher power is that you want to.
Right.
Right.
I find myself saying universe a lot, but I also reference God a lot.
Yeah.
Because I was brought up Catholic,
Right.
and I believe that God, what did I say earlier? God already knows my whole life.
Right.
Yeah.
It's already
laid out.
Exactly. Well, and there's so much truth to that, and a lot of people believe in a soul path or soul plan that you make before you incarnate into human body, where you have certain set things that happen, and then we also have free will. Earth is the place where we have free will. So it's a mix of things that were set in stone that are going to happen from whatever you want to learn here in Earth School. We're here to learn, grow,
Earth
expand.
School, I love that.
Earth School.
Yeah.
So yeah, like certain people come into your life, at certain points of your life for a reason. Awakening happens at a very specific predestined point for you. There's a lot of catalysts that can start that awakening. COVID being one of them that started the awakening process for quite a few people.
Right.
It could be a huge lifestyle change like a divorce, an illness. Typically it's a catalyst that seems like something bad is happening, but really it's just sparking you awake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting your
Great
attention.
way of looking at it. Yeah. Because I do think when most people talk about manifesting, they think of it as something positive. They manifest a car or a certain object, but you're right, you're manifesting all the time, and sometimes it may appear to be something that's not necessarily positive,
right?
But you have to look at the downstream effect of what that is.
Where is it taking you?
Right.
What is it preparing you for? Who is it preparing you for to enter your life?
Well,
Yes.
it's almost that whole concept of everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
There is good and bad, but there's not good and bad.
Yeah.
You take what you perceive as bad, but you learn from it, and you grow and you move. Like, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen for me?
Right. And it's a choice.
Right.
It can move you forward. You have to choose to see it that way.
Right.
But you mentioned victimized earlier. I think so often people, and I'm guilty of it as well, but we fall into that mindset of, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Why is this? And then it just kind of starts this downward spiral.
Right.
So how can you coach people or talk to people about kind of bringing themselves up out of that?
Right. So to me, this might be an unpopular opinion.
And that's okay.
You can say it.
Exactly.
I believe the dark is just as important as the light, because we're here in Earth School learning from polarity. So we're learning from opposites. You have to have experiences of separation, which I would say is the opposite of love. Like a lot of people have quite a lot of trauma that they work through, or different hard experiences, especially earlier in life. And then at a certain point when it's time for awakening, that's when you start questioning everything. You start releasing conditioning, you start healing from some of those things that happen. And that's when it can start happening for you. So that separation served you for your learning purposes. And now it's for you because now you're transforming that pain into most likely your medicine, what you're going to share with other people. After awakening, I don't know one person I've ever met after awakening that doesn't want to be of service in some way. Have you guys?
Yes.
Isn't that
We're
always
here.
the case?
Yes.
Being of service, that's part of the awakening process. So you heal yourself in order that you can be a clear conduit of love. You start moving into unity. You had those experiences of separation. You felt that opposite. Now you're moving into love, unity, peace.
Well, that's what Joey says, we're here. And it's kind of like we were drawn to this because we wanted to help bring some of these concepts to other people that may not be there yet or understand it yet. But it is still a process because we're still learning and growing.
Oh, for sure.
We always are. Once you hit awakening, it never ends.
Yeah.
There's just different stages.
Just the beginning.
Right.
Yeah. So you mentioned how intuitive, or your intuition, is a big part of the manifesting process as well. Can you talk through that a little bit?
Okay, so can I preface it with a little bit so it makes sense?
Sure.
So there's two aspects that kind of can help us understand the intuitive process a little more. When you go through awakening, you start releasing those things that are no longer serving you, like I was just talking about. But you also start opening up to a lot of your gifts and remembering them. A lot of times those have kind of been buried under all that heavy material that you've been holding on to, or repressed emotions. You start releasing that stuff, and then you start remembering. And this is what I help people with in my practice and my coaching, is helping them to release the lingering old stuck stuff, old thoughts, beliefs, stories that no longer serve them.
Limiting beliefs.
Conditioning, limiting beliefs, insecurities.
Right.
So what happens is, simultaneously as you release, you remember. You don't have to do anything special.
Wow.
It's always there. It's innate inside of you. You maybe just haven't nurtured it, or you've forgotten about it, or it's been shamed. So typically what happens is, left brain, right brain. We also all have masculine and feminine. So the masculine is a little bit more like the left brain side of us, which is more logic based, right? And like action oriented. All the manifestation techniques that have been taught so far, I think most people are familiar with like The Secret, if they've heard of manifestation before. And some of the other techniques that I've seen out there are typically more masculine, logic based. And so what happens is people often can't move past the limiting beliefs, and they don't actually manifest the thing that they're trying to manifest. They get stuck because there's quite a few pieces that are not explained.
Yeah. Just
so
get a
they're
little
trying
piece
to
of the puzzle.
manifest with like one little part, right? So the missing piece, I believe, is intuition.
You know what? That makes so much sense to me, and I know you're going to continue.
Yeah.
But like when I first started learning about all of this, I'm more of the masculine, right? So I'm the thinker. I'm the logic. It has to make sense.
Yeah.
But as I started to evolve and started to like feel more, and trust my gut more, it opened up like a whole new world.
Yes. You started moving back into, or opening back up your feminine side and balancing them.
Yes.
But you know, I think sometimes as professional women, we're in an environment where we're expected to have that masculine side. Everything is supposed to be logical, and if you use your feelings, it's seen as weakness.
Too.
At school, exactly.
That's the part that's nurtured. You can get a good job if you stay on this left brain masculine side. Artists don't make any money. How many people say, I'm just not creative? It's a shutdown or a repression of the right brain, which is creativity, innovation, imagination, intuition, receptivity, which is a little more of the feminine aspect.
Yes.
And this is for men and women. So everyone has this, masculine and feminine. They're just unbalanced. So the key in the awakening process, my theory is find balance. Find balance in everything.
We're all about balance.
We keep talking about that. Finding balance to stay true to you.
Left brain, right brain, masculine, feminine. So if you're just focusing on the logic, you're not going to get very far because the logic is not connected to your higher self. Your intuition is connected to your higher self.
So how do you do that? In this particular realm, how do you find balance?
Yeah. With awareness, with consciousness, with intention. This is where I'm going. I'm healing myself. I'm bringing myself back into balance. I'm remembering who I really am. I'm opening back up to my gifts that I may have repressed, denied, been shamed out of, been conditioned out of.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because in the past, working with other people, they bring it back to, what did you love to do as a child?
Right. Yeah. Some people can't remember. You'd be surprised.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah. I was going to say, I have
I'm one of
Especially
those
if it's
people.
been repressed. Like say you had a teacher that told you couldn't draw well. It may not be on the forefront, but so much is subconscious. Especially when I help people work through like shadow work or release work or forgiveness work. They don't remember most of this. I mean, this is typically very subconscious. And so when I help them kind of work through the process, they're like, oh my gosh, like connecting the dots, and that's consciousness. That's bringing awareness. Because if you don't know about it and you can't see it, how can you heal it?
Yeah.
How can you shift it?
Right.
But you don't have to dredge up a lot of old stuff. Everybody thinks, oh, it'll be so hard. I'm going to open Pandora's box. I'll never be able to shut it. I'll never be able to stop crying.
Right.
That's a fear-based thing. That's not what it's really like.
So I keep hearing this thing in my head. It's something I read, and it's something along the lines of prayer is when you talk to God, and meditation is when God talks to you.
I love that one.
So I'm assuming, like when you're talking, I'm picturing somebody meditating. But what are some of the tools? How do people find the balance? Yes. How do they open it?
So it's a process just like the awakening process is. So you're releasing to be able to remember and to open back up your innate gifts. Intuition is an innate gift. Anyone can do it. Everyone has it. They just don't know about it. They've never learned about it. They don't know how to open it, but everyone has it. It just depends on how disassociated they are from it. And you were talking about, Joni, I started feeling again. I started releasing, I started feeling. So depending on how repressed you are in your emotions and your feeling, you're going to be a little more disconnected from your intuition. It's not impossible to get back to that place where you can open it back up.
Well, it also depends on trust.
Oh
too,
gosh,
right?
yes. And that's a process of building trust.
And I mean, it goes back to saying, like, they say that your gut is your second brain.
Yeah.
And you have to trust your gut, because isn't that where your intuition comes from? It's that feeling, it's that knowing. And you just have to trust that it's right.
Yeah.
And you develop it further. So say if you're really disassociated from your feelings, like, let me just think of a quick example. Like, say you're going to a restaurant with a friend, and you go in and you think, I have this gut feeling like I'm supposed to leave here. And it's just quick. It comes into your mind really quick. Depending how sensitive you are to your feelings, you may just feel it real quickly and then not even think anymore about it. Like, but you notice it and you say, oh, this doesn't quite feel right. You're like, but I don't want to be a pain. I don't want to tell my friend that we need to go somewhere else. I'll be fine. You go into the head and you're making up all these things about why this doesn't make any logical sense. So don't listen to it, because it doesn't make any logical sense. You go home, you get food poisoning.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, I should have listened. I had a weird feeling, but I didn't. That is, you can attune to get better at listening to that.
Yeah.
When you're so far away from it, it takes time to, like, start feeling again, start getting more sensitive.
You know what? A similar story, and it's actually a restaurant story. My sister was going to meet a friend at a restaurant for dinner.
Yeah.
And as she was walking in, she was getting this feeling like she shouldn't go, right? And I might not have the story 100% correct, but she was going in the restaurant, and then as soon as she walked in, she gets a call from my sister, and my dad passed away.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just got chills.
It's like she knew.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
And that's called, that she's probably empathetic.
She is.
Yeah. So empathetic people can tap into their intuition a little bit easier than maybe some other people.
Yeah.
But everybody has it, and everybody can do it. It's just fine-tuning yourself to be able to do it and setting the intention to do it. Paying attention, right?
Yeah.
And so some of the ways to open up your intuition is connect with your creativity. I would say so many people I know, I did this project with forgiveness work and art. I thought people were going to be afraid of the forgiveness work. They were afraid of the art.
I'd be afraid of art.
They were terrified of the art. And I was like, what? And, I would talk to people about it. And this was over 40 women that did this project with me. And we did, like, before and after and the art. So I ended up doing a lot of the healing work around the shaming around I'm not creative.
Oh, interesting.
I'm just not creative. Well, then you shut down your intuition. You've shut down your creative ability to manifest in your life.
Yeah.
You've shut down your trust in yourself.
Wow.
You've shut down your power in many senses, which is I am a sovereign being. I create my life. If you don't believe that you can create, how do you create your life? Consciously.
Yeah.
So doing some art is a really great way. And you know what? You don't have to do art, because a lot of people have pain around that. Like, they feel like they can't draw or... I actually teach a class that is just intuitive, abstract art. So you're not trying to create a likeness. You just turn on music and set the intention to just let yourself move with the music and feel and just paint. And then there's no comparison.
Do people do that with dance too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of morning pages?
Oh, pages.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
I do it.
Do you do it now? So that's something I love to write.
Yeah.
And that was one of the first things that I did. It's basically you wake up in the morning, you get a piece of paper, and you just free flow. Whatever comes, you write it or you type it, whatever medium you want to use. You don't even have to read it. But it's getting those thoughts out of your head, just letting it flow. And I've been to a couple of classes that were meditations, visualizations. And one of the best ones was, it was a meditation and you were picturing walking down a hallway and walking downstairs and doing all these things. And at the very end, there's an envelope and it has my name on it. And I open it and it's in my handwriting, and it's my heart was how they presented it, telling me something. And then you get out a piece of paper and you just start writing. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And afterwards I went back and read it and I was like, holy cow, where did that come from? I mean, it was
wow.
It was beautiful. So
That's great.
There are creative ways for people
Yes.
to tap into this.
Yep.
You just have to find the one that works for you.
Yeah, I love that. That's how you would get more attuned to yourself and your higher self,
Right.
you know? Some people that do intuitive work also call it a morning meeting.
Oh, I like that.
Then you're connecting with source,
Uh-huh.
or your, not everyone believes in this, but your guidance and spirit, everyone has guides and angels.
Right.
Yes.
And so you can tap in the morning, you set the intention, you make the commitment to do it every morning. And some people like to pull some cards, and then you write down what messages you got. You could meditate and just say, my guides, I would love to connect with you further. I'm going to close my eyes, write down any symbols, messages, or pictures you get. Because we also have different ways that we're intuitive. Mm-hmm. Each person is unique. I think it's 5 or 6 different clairs. This could go off in a whole nother topic. Right? It could go off for hours.
We're just going to have to, you can do a whole season of just Katie Klien.
And we're talking about manifesting. I'm like, but we all have different gifts. We all have different ways to use our intuition. So also bringing awareness to what are those ways that we receive. Mm-hmm. Like there's one where, I don't know if I'm using the right clair, but claircognizance, where you just know things. Mm-hmm. You don't have any logical reason as to why you know it. You just get this download of information and you know things. Mm-hmm. That's the hardest one for people to figure out, because they can't figure out what's them and what's source. And it's all going to sound like your own inner voice.
Oh, wow.
So you have to just work on it, almost like you learn how to play guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, you just learn and you keep at it and you make a commitment to it. You open yourself up to it, and it'll start to happen for you.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So just to kind of take one little step back, we're all kind of in the, you're more advanced, but we're kind of in the same situation of where we've tried things, we're learning, we understand what's happening. But there are people that may see this that have no idea about any of this. And we were talking last night that, people see that something's going on, but they don't even know the words to use to find it.
Exactly.
So,
or they might be turned off by certain words.
Right.
Because it's like a trigger that brings up some fear.
Scary.
Absolutely.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how can people recognize what's happening? Do you have recommendations of different modalities for people to look at using? How can they tap into intuition so that they're more productive with their manifesting?
Yeah. Well, I'm a big believer that everything shows up exactly when it's supposed to in your life. Mm-hmm. And we're all on such different paths. We're all so unique. And, once you tap into that intuition, you can start to tap into your inner GPS and start getting those answers from within that you used to look for externally. But it's a process, So I would just say, keep connecting back within, see how you're feeling about things. Your feelings won't lead you wrong.
Yeah.
Like, okay, somebody invites you to an event. Wait, don't answer right away. Tap in, see how you feel. Say, hey, can I call you right back and let you know?
Oh, that's
just
a good
little
one.
Practices like that, where you're just not immediately going to logic.
I always say no first.
That's smart. If I show up, you'll be lucky.
Exactly.
No, then you're blessed.
That's not what I mean, but I always say no just because
That's smart.
Because I think, I'm going to be uncomfortable, or I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Like, I start all the negative stuff in my head that I need to let go of.
Yeah. Well, that's a way to also delay it, so you could really feel into it and be like, you know what? Am I just in my head, or does this really not feel right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's so smart. We laugh about how opposite we are. I'm the exact opposite. If somebody asks me to do something, I'm like, okay, sure.
I do that too, Joey. I've had to slow
it'll be
myself
fun.
down and really feel into, because when you're an empath too, you'll pick up on other people's excitement. Mm-hmm. You'll pick up on their energy, and you're a helper.
Right.
So you want to help. Of course, I'd love to support you. Oh my God, I'm going to be so tired, or whatever it is,
Oh, that's so funny.
Well, a perfect example is last night.
Yes.
I asked Joey to go to a friend's new yoga studio that was her first night opening, and she was like, yes,
of course.
And then she gets here and she says, well, how long is it going to be? What kind of yoga? She's like, she didn't know anything.
I just show up.
I'm like, oh.
I love that. I love that. There's a book I was just remembering the other day where, what was it called? The Surrender Experiment. He does that.
Uh-huh.
He like was meditating in a yoga hut forever, you know, just wanting to be in spirit. Well, we're humans here to have a human experience. So he starts to realize that I can't just always be in, you know, a meditative bliss. I need to interact and have a human experience. So he started saying yes to like different experiences that would come in, even if he didn't feel qualified,
right?
You know, whatever it was. And he ended up multi-billion-dollar like tech company. And he was like, how did I get here? You know, just by like saying yes. So there's a beautiful part to that, right?
Yeah, I kind of look at it as it was presented to me, so obviously I am supposed to participate.
I love it.
I like that attitude.
I love it.
I need more of that.
It's an adventure. You never know who you'll meet,
right?
What'll show up, and that's a way that you can pay attention to your intuition and connect with spirit too. Is why do I have to control everything?
Yes,
something has presented itself as an opportunity.
Yes.
And if I don't go, I won't find out what that is.
Exactly. So when we were talking yesterday, you mentioned something similar to this about trying to manifest your soulmate.
Yeah.
And you have to pay attention that it may not be that this person just appears out of thin air. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So the reason we were talking about that is I was kind of trying to explain how you surrender. So some people that have already know a little bit about manifestation, they kind of know the main steps probably. You know, you have to call in what you desire. You get really detailed with what you would like this, you know, thing to have. It needs to be an object that once it shows up, you can see that you manifested it.
Right.
Especially when you're first starting. You know,
be specific.
You know, something that you don't have too much resistance to receiving is good to start with, you know. So soulmate, we were talking about that. And basically, you know, you're going to come up with all the details of what you would like your partner to have. You know, you could get very specific down to blue eyes, you know, whatever it is. You just get real, you're imagining this, you're building it up in your mind, you're adding a lot of emotion to it. You're building it up, and then you have to, most people know that at a certain point you also then have to let it go. You have to pretend it's already in your existence, and then you surrender and let it go. And I call that putting your order in. So you've done your work, you've put your order in, and so now it's time for you to surrender. So intuition is, now I can tell you how that plays in.
See, I knew we'd get there.
Yeah. So you've already put your order in, you've already surrendered, you've given it up to source, right? And you say, okay, I put it in, now source is going to make the house show up and bring this person to my existence. You don't give up there, because that's just like, I put my order in, okay, source, you make it happen. You're co-creating with source at all times. This is why you have to be conscious and bring awareness, because your intuition is going to tell you if there's a divinely guided action you need to take next. So you don't just sit there and wait. You do, because that's the feminine, that's receptive, but you might be guided to take some action. And I think the example I used is like, you might be guided to get on a dating site.
Right.
And you're thinking, oh, I would never get on a date. I don't want to get on a dating site. I don't know, I'm too nervous to get on a dating site. But you keep getting this feeling that you're supposed to get in on a dating site. And then a friend comes up to you, oh, I just got on this dating site, and starts telling you about it, the same name of the one you were thinking about. You see a billboard for the dating site. That is spirit trying to give you signs. And if you're not paying attention to that intuitive guidance, then you're not gonna...
You might miss it.
You may miss it. Or it may show up a lot later.
Chalk it up to coincidence.
It's all, again, it's about awareness. You have to pay attention.
Pay attention to that guided action, not the action that your logic said, well, I'm getting frustrated, it's not showing up yet. I'm gonna start taking some action. I'm gonna go out to bars, I'm gonna join a hiking club, I'm gonna make this happen. Well, don't do that. Just wait.
Right. It's like,
be aware.
You can't power through it.
Trust that it's coming in perfect timing.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's taking a certain amount of time. Trust spirit on that.
Yeah.
So basically you may have this guided action to join the dating site. So you join, and that's how spirit or source is giving you an outlet for this person to find you. What if he lives in Australia? You know, it'd be hard for him to find you when you're going out where your mind told you to go, which is the hiking club or whatever.
Yeah.
So intuition plays
being
a big
aware.
part, and also guided action. You might be asked to do this. Another guided action you might, feel like you need to do is some healing around, I don't feel worthy of this partner. I don't believe I could attract this unicorn of a partner. This is too good to be true. Any old stories, thoughts, beliefs, insecurities that would keep you and block you from this person coming into your life.
Yeah.
That's an action you might need to
that.
take. Heal that.
So part of it is about loving yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All
Right.
inner work is about loving yourself or coming into greater self-acceptance. That's why we do shadow work. That's why we do any inner work, is to come into greater acceptance and love of self. And I love that you said that, because that's the other thing you'd be guided to do, is learn how to love yourself, give yourself all the love that you would want from that partner. All those traits you wrote down that you want your partner to have, you need to embody them. Because you're trying to attract a mirror. You want that, person that is of an equal vibration to come in. You don't want to repel each other. You want to match each other.
Right.
And if you're wanting this high vibe relationship, conscious, deep, somebody that's done their healing work, you have to do it.
Yeah.
You're not going to attract that if you don't do that.
Oh, that's so true.
So here's another question. Once you're on this path, right, and you know when you're on this path,
Oh yeah.
and you're and you're different. You're different.
Rainbow sheep.
And you know what I always say? Like, I love that saying. I don't know if you've seen it. Like, if you are judging me or knowing me based on who I was 10 years ago, let me introduce myself.
Yeah.
Kind of, because you're a different person
Yes.
now, right?
Yeah.
How about the people that are not coming along with you?
Oh, that's a big
It's so
one.
hard.
You have to trust that everybody's on their perfectly guided path. Some people need more time to learn from separation. Some people, it's not time for their awakening yet, right?
So it's partly like just to sit back and trust and
Yes.
love them for who they are,
Yes.
and just know that
Where
they're
they
going
are.
to get there
and where they are.
in their own time.
Yeah, and maybe not even in this lifetime. So, souls are different ages.
Yes.
And not everyone is supposed to awaken in this lifetime. However, we are going through a major shift in consciousness right now, an awakening process. There's a lot more people waking up now, which also means that everything has sped up because the vibration is a lot higher now from all the people that are waking up. It holds space for others to wake up. So you don't need to do or say anything. Your energy helps them wake up.
Oh, I like
Your
that.
vibration
Yes.
helps them wake up by holding space. So you don't have to say anything. And then you don't have to worry about, I'm going to be scapegoated if I can't meet this person where they are, and they're going to project onto me or get upset, or I might offend them, or I could freak them out with my woo-woo stuff.
You can be the weird friend of the group.
Yeah,
Right. We know about that
Right. So we're discerning with who we talk about. I wait for an ask. If someone asks me something or they ask for support, I know they're ready to receive my vibration and my energy or what I have to share. But if they don't ask, we change the conversation up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I have felt that in my life.
Yeah.
Like I used to want to share everything with everybody.
Yeah.
And then I realized they don't want to hear it.
Or they're not ready.
That's what I mean.
Right.
They're not ready.
They're not ready. It can make them really uncomfortable.
Yes,
But
I think
so. I've
just-
learned that though. I had to be aware of that, and
And feelings get hurt in the meantime while you're figuring it out, you know?
yeah.
But I think if the way I would try to look at it is just having your energy present in their life, even if they don't realize it, it can help to raise their vibration and to raise their awareness without you even saying anything.
Yeah. And when you do your healing work, you also heal your family line. So you're healing your family, every time you raise your vibration, you don't even have to be in the vicinity of someone. You can love them from afar.
Yeah.
Some people have that with family members where there's still some toxicity going on, and you can love and raise your vibration from afar, and it still helps them.
Yeah.
It still helps them. you know.
Amazing.
Yes.
Now, I don't, this is such a great conversation, but I know you had mentioned yesterday that you had an exercise
Yeah.
that you wanted to do with us and the viewers, and I
Yeah.
don't want us to run out of time. So,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
what is that?
Okay. So what I was going to do was, you know how we're talking about with intuition, you get into your feelings, you get into your feeling self. So I was going to do the manifestation process that I do with my clients, there is a part of it where you do some visualization.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I'll just share with everyone that little part because it'll be fun.
Fun.
Okay.
So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to have you, and this is for our audience too, just everybody go ahead and close your eyes. Just take some deep breaths. Okay. So when we first start manifesting, we're going to manifest a tangible object or a thing. And for the sake of everyone doing this together, I'm just going to say a car. So we're going to work on manifesting a car in this exercise. Whatever kind of car it is up to you. So with our eyes closed, we're going to get into all of our senses here. So we want to use our imagination and we want to exaggerate our imagination. So we want to make it bigger than life. So you're going to try to raise your vibration, and the way you would do that is by getting into those really excited emotions. So you want to get into excitement, happiness. How is this car going to make you feel? So you get really excited about it. And that's going to automatically lift your vibration because those emotions are of a high vibration. So you're going to kind of use all your imaginal senses and you're going to picture this car. What does this car look like? Give it a lot of detail. Is it a convertible, a Jeep? What kind of features does it have? What's the color? Are there any special features that the car has? Where would you take this car? Are you going to take it on any trips? So you go ahead and imagine yourself, where are you when you receive this car? Picture yourself there. You've just received the car. All right, you're going to open the door. Go ahead and get in. Start looking around. What other details do you see? Okay, we're going to start it up.
This is the fun
Key in
part.
the ignition. Oh my goodness. Is it a stick or automatic? Do you like to drive fast? You can. There's no speed limit in this exercise. So go ahead and start driving. Where are you when you're driving? Is it a curvy road? Is it straight? Are you in Europe on the Autobahn? Tropical island? Take in all the sights around you. How does it feel to be driving this car? What does it feel like to have that wheel in your hands? Is it smooth to the touch? Is it leather? Do you feel any breeze blowing through your hair? So we're going to use all of our senses. So taste is one of those senses. So what could we think about here with the car? Do we have a picnic in the back seat and we stop somewhere to go and have a picnic lunch? What is it that you're tasting? Are you driving at the beach and maybe have some salty sea breeze that you're tasting? Let's see, so we've done see, touch, taste, smell. What do we smell? Do you have any friends with you in the car? You guys have any air freshener in the car? So you're going to really blow it up in your mind and just imagine every single detail. And you're going to get really excited about it. How is this going to make you feel to have this car? Where does it help you get to? Do you go on vacations? Do you go to work? Does everybody feel like they have a good a good view of this card, taking in all the details now?
Yes.
All right, so go ahead and open. How did it feel?
It was fun.
It was fun. Were you going fast?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, kind of. I was in the Parkway.
Oh,
I'm so curious what
nice.
your car was.
I want to hear it too.
I was sitting there thinking, I bet Joni's the exact opposite of me.
Mine was a Lexus convertible.
Not
Nice.
too far off.
What was yours?
Mine is a 1957 Corvette convertible.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you manifest things, this is what you want to do. You want to visualize it. You want to blow it up in your mind, make it big, feel all the emotions. Because why do we want to manifest a thing anyway? To make us feel a certain way. So emotions are energy in motion. The more emotion you can bring to it, the more you can actually bring it into your experience.
Say that again. Emotions are
Energy in motion.
I like that.
I like that too.
So you're just making it huge in your mind and feeling like you already have it, because then you can get into the feelings. How did it make you feel? That's really behind why you want the object in the first place.
Right.
Oh, that's
Including a soulmate relationship.
fantastic.
You want to feel love. You want to feel heard. You want to feel, whatever it is. So that's
really
it.
good.
And that's intuitive. You're using all your senses. See, touch, taste, smell, hear. I forgot to do hear. What do you hear? What kind of music are you listening to?
Yeah.
So you get into all the senses, and then you're using your intuition there. And then the next way, then you have to surrender. So you've built it up in your mind, you've given it all the details, you've imagined it. Now you have to give it up to source to bring it into your life. But now you want to wait and see, is there any guidance I need to do? Maybe the source directs you to go to a certain car dealership on a certain day.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention, then you'll have to wait a while until source directs you somewhere else, and hopefully you'll go.
Oh,
Because the car is not just going to appear on your doorstep.
Right.
You need to take the intuitive actions to guide you to the car.
Yeah.
Look in the paper at the cars for sale, but only when guided.
Right.
So you just want to get more in tune to your emotions and your sensitivities to be able to pay attention to those signs.
Yeah.
And source will show you more than one time, especially when you're first.
If you missed the first one.
Right, like we talked about earlier, like the billboard and the friend talking about it, because source will also send messages through people.
Yeah.
So pay attention to what your friends are saying, or
So
you run into somebody in the grocery
yes,
store,
yes.
they tell you to read a certain book. That's all source sending you messages.
Awesome. Well, we're so lucky that we have you right here.
Yes.
But for our viewers, is there any way that they can find Katie Klien? Do you have contact information to share so that everybody can have the Katie experience?
Oh, well, I would be honored, of course, to work with anyone that would be interested in working with me. I offer complimentary phone consultations. So we can talk and just send me an email. And I think you guys will probably list my website and email.
We will.
Yes.
Put it in the show notes.
So it's just KatieKleinSoulshine.com. And you can send me an email through, direct email or through the website. There's a contact form. And we can just talk about how I might be able to support you better. I have lots of different tools and modalities that, I use. And in the coaching too, I'm just a great listening ear as well for, people who might want something a little different than traditional therapy, where they are going through their awakening process and they have some questions or would like to talk more about that. And of course, I have, I can bring in your guidance and connect with your higher self. If I have permission to do that, I can do that through Reiki sessions where I give you intuitive messages afterwards, or we can go ahead and just, tune in while we're doing a coaching session, and you can ask your own higher self and your guides questions, and then I can teach you how to tune into that yourself as well. So basically, I'm just helping you remember who you really are and remember your innate gifts and your, ability to create your life. Everyone can do it. And of course, I offer manifestation sessions as well, where we would actually go through the whole process. We did a little part of it.
Well, thank you so very much. This was incredible.
This has
was
been
so
such
fun.
a fun conversation.
Yes, it's been wonderful. So thank you again. And for our viewers, make sure you check in the bio section to get in touch with Katie personally.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, wow.
No words.
That was just amazing.
It was. What a great conversation.
Yeah. And that is exactly what I think you and I imagined when we started this, is bringing in concepts that maybe not everybody's familiar with, but everybody can use to help find balance and self-care.
Well, I love that she was saying, you have to find the balance between the feminine and the masculine and what that actually means.
Right.
Because I feel that in my own body.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, there's so many takeaways from that.
Yeah, and the tools that she gave, the exercises that we worked through, that was amazing. That was just amazing.
I wish I had a notepad and that I wrote things down, but
you could always go back and watch the show.
I can, and I will.
Yes.
But I think she has so much to offer. We may have to have her on again.
I think so.
Continue this conversation.
I think so. So this was beautiful. It was a beautiful representation of what our show is all about. So thank you for joining us.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Look forward to seeing you next time.